My wife had an affair, but I only found out after her affair partner's spouse told me. I never imagined that my life could change so dramatically in a single conversation. It was an ordinary day when I received the phone call that would shatter the reality I thought I knew. On the other end of the line was a voice I barely recognized, the spouse of my wife's affair partner. Her voice was tense, almost cold, and before she even spoke, I could feel the weight of something terrible coming. What she said next turned my world upside down. My wife had been having an affair, and she had found out. She felt it was only right to tell me the truth. I was stunned, blindsided, utterly lost. My mind reeled as I tried to make sense of the words, but nothing made sense. How could this be true? My wife, the person I had shared my life with, built a family with, trusted with my whole heart. The very idea that she could betray me like this was unimaginable. I stood frozen, barely able to respond to the person on the phone who seemed more calm than I could ever be in such a moment. She said she had known for a while and that she thought I deserved to know too. I barely heard her goodbye as I hung up, too overwhelmed by the sudden devastation. I sat there, replaying the conversation in my head, hoping that it was some sort of mistake, that maybe this person had it all wrong. But deep down, I knew. There had been signs. Moments where my wife had seemed distant, distracted, or unusually evasive. There were times when she'd been on her phone a lot more than usual or suddenly needed to stay late at work. I had noticed it, but I dismissed it as stress, busyness, or just a phase we were going through. I trusted her. After all, she was my wife. I had never allowed myself to consider that she might be capable of something like this. When she came home that evening, I didn't know how to start. I didn't know what to say or how to confront her. So I asked as calmly as I could, "Is there something you need to tell me?" She looked at me, confused at first, and then I saw it. The guilt in her eyes, the look of someone who knew they had been caught. She didn't ask what I meant. Instead, her face paled, and I watched as the truth settled between us. I didn't need to say anything more. She confessed. The affair had been going on for months. It started as something casual, flirtation at work, a connection that grew stronger over time. She said she hadn't planned for it to go this far, hadn't meant to hurt me, and had been trying to end it. But that didn't matter. Nothing she said in that moment could erase the betrayal I felt. The pain was immediate and overwhelming. My wife, the woman I loved and had committed my life to, had been sharing herself with someone else. As she spoke, I felt my heart break in a way I'd never experienced before. The sense of betrayal was suffocating. I had trusted her implicitly, never doubting her loyalty or love for me. And yet, here I was, learning about the most intimate betrayal from a stranger. That thought alone stung even deeper. She hadn't even come forward on her own. It took the spouse of the man she had cheated with to finally bring the truth to light. I asked her why. Why did she do it? Why didn't she come to me if there were problems? Why didn't she just talk to me before everything fell apart? Her answers felt hollow. She said she had been unhappy, that she felt unappreciated and disconnected from me. But all I could think was, why didn't she tell me that before? Why didn't she give us a chance to fix it before turning to someone else? The conversation went on for hours, but none of it brought any comfort or clarity. It only made the pain more real, more vivid. The questions burned in my mind, but no answer could make sense of the betrayal. There was a moment when I asked her if she loved him. She hesitated, and even though she said no, that hesitation felt like another dagger to my heart. In the days that followed, I went through every emotion imaginable. Anger, sadness, confusion, and disbelief swirled around me constantly. I couldn't look at my wife the same way anymore. Every time I saw her, I thought of the lies, the deceit, the moments she had been with someone else while I remained in the dark. I didn't know how to move forward. Should I stay? Should I leave? Could I ever forgive her? And even if I could, how would I ever trust her again? We talked more in the following days, though each conversation felt like reopening the wound. She apologized over and over, saying she wanted to make things right, that she didn't want to lose me or our family. But her words felt empty. How could I believe her now, after everything that had happened? Trust is such a fragile thing, and once it's broken, rebuilding it feels impossible. I thought about our life together, the years we had shared, the memories we had created. I thought about our family, our children, and what it would mean for them if I walked away. Part of me wanted to stay, to find a way to work through this, for their sake if nothing else, but another part of me couldn't get past the betrayal. Every time I thought about it, I felt physically sick. Could I really live with this hanging over our relationship? I considered confronting the affair partner, asking him why he thought it was okay to destroy two families for a selfish fling. But then I realized it didn't matter. It wasn't him I was married to, it was my wife. She was the one who had made the choice to betray me, to break the vows we had made. I couldn't shift the blame to him, as tempting as that was. In the end, I knew the decision had to be mine. I couldn't let anyone else decide whether or not I could forgive her. I had to figure out if I could live with what she had done, or if it would haunt me forever. It's been weeks now since I found out, and I still don't have all the answers. Some days I feel like I could forgive her, like maybe we could work through this and rebuild what we lost. Other days the pain is too much to bear, and I think about walking away, starting over, and leaving the betrayal behind me. What I do know is that this experience has changed me. It's made me question everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and commitment. I've learned that relationships are far more fragile than I ever realized, and that sometimes even the people we love most can hurt us in ways we never thought possible. As for my wife, she says she's committed to earning back my trust, to proving that she's still the person I fell in love with. Only time will tell if that's possible. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out if I can ever look at her the same way again. If I can ever truly move past the hurt and betrayal. One thing is for sure, the road ahead won't be easy. Whether we stay together or not, the pain of what happened will always be there, a shadow over everything. But I'm determined to find my way through this, one step at a time, even if I don't yet know where that path will lead.